Pull that microphone in front of you, right down in front of your mouth, and remember, it moves at the top too. You can bend it down. Just remember to project when you speak, even though there's a microphone right there. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Would you please tell us your full name and spell your last name for the record?
Bradley David Barkhurst, Barkhurst.
And sir, how are you presently employed?
I'm employed with the Ohio Organized Crime Investigations Commission as a forensic audio video analyst.
And first, then, what is the Ohio Organized Crime Investigations Commission?
It's part of the law enforcement agencies, government agencies around the state of Ohio can submit audio and video recordings to our office. So, for example, if there was a bank robbery and the investigator was trying to get some photos of the bank robber from the video and have it clarified, something like that can be submitted to our agency and we would work on that.
And where is your office located?
It's located in the greater Columbus, Ohio area.
And are you the only audio-video analyst, or are there more analysts?
There's 4 of us.
And I think you've kind of given us a little bit of an idea, but can you give a fuller description in regards to your job, duties, and responsibilities within your employment?
Well, as I said, audio-video recordings come to us, and so often I'll extract images from the video, try to sharpen them, try to brighten them up, and then make prints of them, put them on photo paper. I create courtroom presentation videos of my work products so they can be viewed in order to hear what's being spoken better. And also we do a lot of just duplication requests.
And how long have you been employed in that position?
9 years.
And can you tell us the education or training you received which qualifies you for that position?
Well, I received my bachelor's degree of fine arts from the University of Cincinnati in electronic media. Once when I got hired with my current job, I received training with the Law Enforcement and Emergency Services versus Video Association, which is known as LEVA. And they're the organization that gave me the majority of my training in forensic video analysis. I've gone through their basic, intermediate, and advanced courses. I've received audio analysis training from the Digital Audio Corporation in regards to my audio training, and I've also gone through the LEVA Forensic Video Analysis certification process.
And did you receive a certification in your field then?
Yes.
And do you continue to receive ongoing training in your field?
Yes.
In regards to your employment then, I'm assuming that in the course of enhancing videos and audio evidence, that you have tools available to you to assist you in that process?
Yes.
And what kind of tools generally are we talking about?
We have several tools. One of the tools that we frequently use is an image program called Adobe Photoshop. And we can do brightness levels adjustments to images. We can sharpen images with that. We can select regions of interest from images and enlarge them. And then for video work, we use what's called Avid Media Composer. Increase the brightness, also zoom in on things on the video, and also clarify audio. And then also we have different tools to try to convert video into workable format.
And does your office serve any law enforcement agency throughout the state of Ohio that may seek your assistance?
Yes. Ohio Attorney General's office.
And have you had the opportunity to testify in court previously regarding your work of enhancing or attempting to enhance both audio and video from evidence?
Yes.
And approximately how many times have you previously testified in regards to your work?
Over 12 times.
Mr. Barkhurst, I'm going to take you back to November of 2014, and were you asked by the Akron Police Department to assist in the enhancement of the audio and the video in regards to a shooting and a homicide that occurred within the city of Akron?
Yes.
And can you tell the jury how you initially became involved in this case?
Well, back in November of 2014, Lieutenant Whitten of the Akron Police Department came to our office and submitted 2 discs that he requested for audio-video clarification. When those discs were submitted, I obtained custody of them, and basically what I did was, when I received the discs, I made sure that there were no cracks in them and they could play properly. From there, what I did was make a working copy of the contents on both discs. So I have a special computer program that allows me to copy the files on the disc and then save them onto my computer hard drive. And the program just allows me to see that the copy that was on the disc is the same as what's on my computer hard drive. And that's a process where it assigns just a unique identifier to those computer files. So it's like a digital thumbprint. It's called an MP5 hash.
And when you use the term working copy, are you saying that you don't do your work on the original piece of evidence that's provided to you by the police?
No, I make a working copy and then work off that.
Okay. And why is that?
Well, first of all, I have to have a working copy just for a backup. And then typically what I do is just make the copy and then work on a working copy. So
I guess for that original copy, you don't want to alter or in any way compromise the original evidence. Is that fair to say?
That's fair to say, yes.
And so when the working copy, is that an exact duplicate of the original, and do you ensure that it's an exact duplicate?
Yes.
Tell us then what you did next after you made a working copy of those videos.
Well, I took a look at the files on the disc, and I had 2 discs submitted, and I realized that the files on each disc were the same. So I only worked off one of the discs. And from there, I played back the videos. There were 3 different camera views on the CD. So there's 3 separate video files. Now, one of the issues that we encounter with digital video is there's no set standard. There's not one standard. It was play because that was a set standard. With digital video, it's a little different. There's not one set standard, and there's all sorts of different players. So my job is to first try to determine a method of trying video out and get a working copy or a copy that I in a format that I can work with. And from there, what I use was called a screen capture tool. And it's a program on my computer which basically, as the video plays on my computer, it takes snapshots or pictures of the video as it plays back on my computer. In addition, it records the audio as it plays back on my computer. And then it saves it into a format that I can then work with. In addition, this program allowed me not just only to save the video into a format that I could work with, but it also allowed me to save the individual stills that made up the portion of video that I screen recorded. And the portions that I screen recorded, which were requested by Detective Liddon, were from an outside camera where an individual pulls up, and then 2 cameras from inside the restaurant where, during the time period, according to Lieutenant Liddon, where the shootings occurred, and then also a portion where there's someone running outside of the restaurant. So basically, the screen capture tool has allowed me to save individual images that make up the video from that portion. From there, what I did was use Adobe Photoshop to just adjust the levels, the video levels, try to increase the brightness and increase the sharpness. Those images then were saved in what's called an Adobe PDF. An Adobe PDF is similar to a Microsoft Word document, where each photo of the having the PDF allows you to go image by image, forward or backwards, and also allows you to zoom in on the images. So I created PDFs for portions of the video that I received. In addition, I've selected a few images where I just thought might have investigative value. And from there, I was able to enlarge them, resize them, and select a region of interest where I've enlarged that. So I've saved those stills in a digital format, and in addition, I made photo prints of those. From there, I took the saved video that I had screen recorded, and I opened that up into my video computer, where I assembled the video presentation for courtroom demonstrative purposes.
Take Exhibit 133. Ask if you're able to identify that exhibit.
Yes.
What do you identify that exhibit to be?
This is a work product that I produced for the Akron Police Department. It contains my clarified photos and also my PDF image sequences.
Okay. And Mr. Barker, so I'm going to put your CD into the laptop, present it on the screen there, and then ask you some follow-up questions.
Okay.
And let me know if you want me to dim the lights.
I will. All right, Mr. Barkhurst, I'm going to have you stand so you're not in the jury's way. Be aware of that. On this list, then, we have two categories. Well, let me start out here with the one file is entitled CAM3 Image Sequence. Can you tell us what that is?
So the CAM3 image sequence is a PDF that shows a PDF file that I made.
And now, is there picture enhancement that was performed on those images?
Yes, with those images, I used the levels tool, trying to increase the brightness and the sharpness of the images.
Then clicking on camera 3 image sequence. Can you tell us what we're looking at here?
So that's page 1 of the PDF image sequence that I produced for camera 3.
And when you say page 1, how do you know it's page 1?
Because the page number on the lower right.
There's a page number on the lower right. Compared to the original video, is the timestamp appear different on your images compared to the actual video?
Yeah, on the original video, timestamp was in a different location. With the screen capture tool that I use, it allows me just to place the timestamp on the video itself, because originally the timestamp wasn't on the video. But it does maintain the time, and so in this for camera 3, I place it on the lower right-hand corner of the screen.
And what is the first time that we see on page 1 for camera 3?
The time is 1:52:51.
And if you go down to the bottom portion, does this indicate specifically how many images or slides are contained for camera 3?
Yes, it shows how many images I saved out for the Adobe PDF. So the Adobe PDF, so in this case it would be 504.
And if I start pressing to see the next image, the page number then is in the lower right-hand corner, correct?
Yes.
And if I keep pressing, it almost appears to be the video in slow motion.
Yes.
And these are just one slide after the next continuously without any breaks in the action. Is that fair to say?
That's correct.
Ultimately, if I go to the end, you're being image 500 out of 504. Image 504 would be the last one for camera 3.
Yes.
And what would be the time stamp for that?
1:53:58.
So, I don't remember the exact time the first of it, but we're talking about approximately a minute, a little over a minute, was it?
It's approximately a minute.
And that ended up being 504 slides or images of what occurred, what is seen in camera 3 at that time there. Is that correct?
That's correct.
These pictures are through your work of enhancing it and I guess transferring it to slide by slide presentation.
That's correct.
And you did the same thing then for camera number 4?
Yes.
screen now?
Again, this is page number 1 of my Kenan Ivery PDF image sequence. And again, the timestamp is just placed on the lower right hand of the screen.
And for the first page, then what is the timestamp?
1:52:59.
And how many slides or images are contained camera 4?
There's 450 images.
This works the same as the last file we saw for camera 3. Push the arrow, you can start seeing slide by slide, image by image. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Continuous with no interruption.
That's correct.
If I go to the very end, slide number 450. What timestamp is there at this point?
1:53:59.
That's exactly 1 minute.
That's in the beginning.
Remember, 1:53:59 started with 1:52:59.
Yes, that's 1 minute.
1 minute is 450 slides. Is that correct?
That's correct.
This has the same type of enhancement that you described previously.
Yes.
Did you do the same thing then with the third camera angle, which is identified as camera number 13?
Yes.
Now, as far as on the disc, did you split up camera 13?
Yes.
And why did you do that?
There was part 1 shows the portion where there's an individual pulling up to the restaurant, and then part 2 shows an individual running outside.
Now I'm going to open up a file indicating Cam 13, part 1 image sequence. And is this the first page of that sequence?
Yes.
And how many images or slides are there in this sequence?
There's 353.
Start with page 1. It's timestamped as to which date?
2014, 11, 16, 1:52:09.
And going to the last slide. What is the timestamp of the last slide of this sequence?
1:52:55.
And once again, all the slides in between, the 351 in between, are continuous, uninterrupted images from that video.
Yes.
Finally, there's camera 13. You labeled as part 2. You indicated that this would have been, chronologically speaking, the second of the 2. You described an individual arriving and then an individual running through the parking lot. The second one would be the individual running through the parking lot.
That's correct.
What is this time stamped as?
1:54:08.
How many slides does this contain?
75.
The timestamp of the last 75th slide.
1:54:18.
This is once again a continuous, uninterrupted presentation, slide by slide, this time period.
Yes.
Now, you also testified then that you selected certain images to try to resize. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, was that the guidance of the Akron Police Department, or did you just kind of choose slides that you thought would be relevant and helpful for the police?
It was without guidance of the police department. I chose what I thought might be relevant.
And the clarified stills, is that the file in which you have these images?
Yes.
I'll click on that file. And specifically, how many images did you resize?
6. And here, technically all of them have been enlarged, but within those images, there is regions of interest where I enlarged further, and There would be 5 of those.
Okay. So let's just see those. There's 2 from camera 3, is that correct?
Yes.
2 from camera 4.
Yes.
1 from camera 13.
That's correct.
Let's look at these ones. This would be from camera 3, correct?
Yes.
And what is the timestamp on this?
1:53:53.
And this is a picture that a portion of it was enlarged.
As the image has been enlarged, and then if we go to the next one, this is one where a region of interest has been enlarged, and I just put the boxes and the lines on that.
Shows specifically what's been enlarged, is that correct?
Yes.
And it appears you lose some clarity in enlarging it, is that fair to say?
Yes, anytime an image is enlarged, it does lose some sharpness. So therefore, when I'm working on these images, I sharpen them as well.
The next image from camera 3 then, timestamp on this image,
1:53:55.
and then the portion which was enlarged. Once again, you pick the squares, kind of connotate which images have been enlarged, right?
Yes.
You indicate you lose some clarity when they're enlarged.
53:27.
And the enlargement portion,
Yes. Yes.
that's once again timestamped at 1:53:27, which has been enlarged, which is signified by these squares, correct?
That's correct.
Another camera 4 picture, timestamp would be
1:53:55.
pressing the arrow, this would be the enlargement, correct?
That's correct.
And finally, camera 13, timestamp you chose to enlarge.
That's correct.
And in doing this process, these 5 images that you resize or took a portion and enlarged, in any way you alter the original, or in any ways compromise the original image.
No, it doesn't take out anything from the original image.
Does it add anything to the original image?
No, these are copies of the original image.
All right. I believe that's what's contained on this first disc, is that correct?
That's correct, and I think I have a folder with the original images, and then also just a text file of those unique identifiers of the digital files called hash values.
And then finally, you indicated that you put together a second disc. And I'll have you can return your seat for the second disc. Mr. Barkhurst, you indicated that there was also what you, I think, called a video presentation.
That's correct.
Can you tell us about that?
So I produced a digital disc in which I created a video presentation for demonstrative purposes. On that presentation, it starts off with the clarified images each, and I zoom in on them and zoom out, followed by the video segments where I haven't done any clarification to them. And those video segments are arranged in somewhat chronological order. And then following those video segments are the same video segments in which I've clarified. So, and in this specific case, what I did was try to increase the brightness of the video, and then called a picture-in-picture, where when I zoom into the video, the timestamp is not visible, so the picture-in-picture tool allows the timestamp to still be visible. In addition, in regards to the audio, what I did was apply what's called an equalization tool, which would be used to reduce the sound of the music. I tried to reduce the sound of the music in order to help assist with hearing what people might be saying. This tool is very similar to if you adjust the bass and the treble on your car stereo or home stereo.
So that's the steps that you're able to take based upon your knowledge, experience, and the tools available to you to try to enhance the audio. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And that's what the result of the video, that's the result of that then can be seen in the video presentation. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Let me ask you, as far as in this case, was it your job to determine or try to determine what is being said or gunfire, or to actually analyze the contents of what's analyze the contents of the audio in these videos?
Well, it was requested of me, however, with this specific case, and most of the cases that I work on, what I did for this case is just clarified it, and I didn't come to a specific conclusion on how many gunfire shots were made or what people were saying. I just clarified it and put it into a presentation which people can view and make their own opinion.
And for your purposes at the time, it was to give the police hopefully an enhanced tool to analyze, correct?
Yeah, it's just another way of looking at the recordings.
Are you just going to just let it play?
Yeah.
Okay. That was about 10 minutes long? 10 minutes, okay.
I'm going to hand you now the Mark State Exhibit 143. If you're able to identify that exhibit.
This is the video presentation that I had produced for this court case.
Okay. Now, is that the original one you created, or did you have to create a subsequent?
This is not the original one. Back in 2014, I did. When the video played, it played back a little jumpy, or there was a little bit of a jerky motion in some portions of the video. And upon review of the original video, that was not on there. So what I had to do was try to figure out what that problem was and find a way of solving that problem. For this presentation, actually for the video portion, while the video plays back in motion, the screen capture tool that I previously used, I didn't use this time around. Instead, the player that came with the video had an option to save out the video, and so that's what I did for this presentation.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but we've been presenting this video at various times in the trial last week. At a time we had technical problems where the video gets choppy and skips a couple seconds. Is that ultimately was the problem with the first presentation, and so it was redone to make sure that the video played fluid like it is in the original?
That's correct.
This time then I'm going to play your video presentation. Judge, can I ask to have the lights dimmed for this? It's about a 10-minute presentation. I'm done with the video, Judge. Based upon your video and audio enhancements, that presentation was the final product, is that correct?
That's correct.
And before each segment, you kind of indicate in the title screen what type of work was done to that segment to try to enhance it?
That's correct.
I'm going to show this to him. I'm not going to put it on the screen. I'm just going to have it done. Now I'm going to hand you a series of images that are printed out. States Exhibit 8, States Exhibit 134, 135, 136, 137, 138, 139, 140, 141 and 142, and have you look at these. These are the same 10 images that we looked at earlier as far as the clarified still support file from your disk.
That's correct. The one exhibit 135, 136, those are duplicates of images that I made.
And they fairly accurately depict those images, is that correct?
Yes. With my images have the entire timestamp on them.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Barkers, my name is John Greven, and I'm one of the attorneys for Kenan Ivery. You know I'm going to ask you some questions, right?
Right.
Okay. Keep your voice up. I don't think that's going to be a problem. And if at any point in time you don't understand my question, I will tell you I'm a little bit technologically impaired, so it's probably a bad question, but it's important that we're always on the same page, okay?
Okay.
All right. You work for the Attorney General's office in Columbus, right?
Yes.
So did you drive up this morning?
Yesterday.
Okay. And basically what happens is police agencies throughout the state of Ohio give you videotapes, audio tapes, things like that, and your job is to try to video enhancement or audio enhancement, correct?
That's correct.
And sometimes that's done to help apprehend a suspect, like you mentioned the bank robbery example. They may send you a videotape from a bank, and they want you to get a clarified picture of it to help catch the guy, correct?
Correct.
And then sometimes, even though they have someone in custody, they may have you do this video or audio enhancement for evidentiary purposes, correct?
Correct.
And sometimes for prosecution purposes. I think, look at your CV, you've testified 12 or 13 times in criminal cases, right?
Yes.
Okay. There is a limit to what you can do, correct?
Yes. Yes.
The better the material that comes to you, the more you can do with it. Is that fair?
Typically, yes.
Okay. For example, we talked about the audio enhancement. You've seen the video. You know that there's a confrontation takes place here around the front door by the stage, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And one of the things that Lieutenant Wynn asked you to do was try to play with, titrates, the audio, so you could maybe hear some conversation, hear some gunshots, things like that a little bit better, right?
That's correct.
Okay. So you would agree with me that when you get this, there's music blaring, correct?
Correct.
And it's a bar at 2 o'clock in the morning, there's lots of conversations going on, correct?
Correct.
And in a perfect world, you could get rid of all the music, you could get rid of all the other conversation, and we could just listen to what the people right here were saying. But really, you can't do that, right?
No.
Right. And when it comes to the video, when the prosecutor was showing you those pictures, and for example, I think from camera number 4, there was 450 pictures in a 60-second time frame.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. So basically, just so I'm clear, maybe so they're clear, what you're doing is you are taking a bunch of stills, about, if my math is correct, about 7 a second, correct?
That's correct.
So when the prosecutor's playing that button, next picture, fast enough, it's almost like the actual videotape, correct?
Correct.
Now, you can't, this is going to fall into the horrible question thing, I think. You can't show what's not there, right?
That's correct. The video, I'm only restricted to how many images per second that camera records at. So,
Well, and I guess what I mean is, the camera 4 is the camera that's over here and it's kind of shooting down this way. Okay?
yes.
I mean, you're aware of that, I assume?
Yes.
Okay. And, for example, in the video you see a guy that we referred to during trial as Big Dave, kind of a big guy standing there, kind of right here in front. And if there's something that's happening in front of him that the camera doesn't catch, you can't manipulate that to try to see that. Does that make sense to you?
That makes sense. No, I can't. If somebody's standing in front of the camera, I can't magically make it appear.
Right. You can't play with it to shoot around it or any kind of thing like that. You can only shoot what is actually on the cameras, on the videotapes that are given you by the police department, right?
That's correct.
Okay. In front of Big Dave, if we can't see that based on the angle of camera number 4, there is nothing you can do in your professionalism to help us see what's on the other side, right?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead. I just need to see if the other witness I have next is. swear the testimony will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and nothing but the truth. Consider yourself under oath and have a seat right here. Ask you to keep your voice up. Can you give us your name, please?
First name James, last name Gray, RDA.
And you're employed as an Akron police officer?
Yes, ma'am.
How long have you been an Akron police officer?
Just under 14 years.
Are you in the patrol division?
I'm currently assigned to the study
You work in?
patrol.
Okay. So you were a patrolman in the year 2007 for the Akron Police Department?
That is correct.
In 2007, actually October of 2007, were you involved in the arrest of Kenan Ivery?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And you were involved in an investigation and then brought charges against Mr. Ivery at that time?
That is correct.
And are you aware if Kenan Ivery was convicted of 2 charges in February of 2008, arising from your investigation in 07?
Yes, I'm aware.
Okay. I'm going to hand you what I've marked here as State Exhibit 144. If you could take a look at that for me, please. Tell me if you recognize it.
I do recognize it's a journal entry.
A journal entry from where?
From my case from 2007.
Okay. And if you could flip to sort of the second to last page. I'm just looking at the bottom of the second page. There's a, what is that?
It's a certified copy from clerk of courts. A stamp.
So a certified journal entry, and could you give us the date of that journal entry?
February 26, 2008.
And in referring to that court journal entry from the Summit County Court of Common Pleas in 2008, can you, do you know what the defendant was convicted of? What Kenan Ivery was convicted of?
Possession of cocaine and trafficking of cocaine.
And you know the felony level?
Felony 3 and felony 5.
Okay. And on the last page, actually it's the second to last page, I apologize. Does it state the name Kenan Ivery?
Yes, it does.
Does it have his date of birth?
Yes, it does.
Could you read that, please?
February 1st, 1979.
All right. Does it also have his social security number?
Yes, it does.
Could you read that as well?
296-86-2270.
So based on that information, date of birth, social security number, and your investigation from 2007, are you aware if that Kenan Ivery, convicted of those 2 felonies, is the Kenan Ivery that we have here in court today in this particular case?
Yes, it is.
Is it the same person?
That is correct.
Okay. And I'm not sure I made it actually clear, but the defendant sitting here present, this is the Kenan Ivery you're referring to from this journal entry in 2007 and 2008?
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you, sir. No further questions.
Sorry. We have no questions for this officer.
Thank you, sir. You can sit down.
swear the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Consider yourself unclean.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Can you give us your first and last name and spell them for the court reporter, please?
First name is Janusz, Janusz. Last name is Jaskolka, Jaskolka.
And sir, you're an officer with the Akron Police Department?
Yes, ma'am.
And how long have you been an officer with APD?
Almost 9 years.
What area of APD, what capacity do you work for them?
I am assigned to Platoon 3. Hours are 3 p.m. to 11 p.m.
So you're a patrol officer?
Yes, ma'am.
And so for that 9 years you've been with APD, you've been in the patrol division?
Correct.
Okay. So you were working, sir, back in January of 2011?
Yes, myself and Officer Botnick.
Okay. And Botnick, Officer Botnick was your partner at the time?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you just spell his name for the court reporter, please?
Baukeneccht.
Thank you. So in January of 2011, were you involved in the arrest of Kenan Ivery?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you recall what the two charges were? Well, strike that. Are you aware if Mr. Ivery was then convicted in regard to your investigation and the charges in that case?
He was convicted on 2 charges.
Okay. I'm going to hand you a marked on State Exhibit 145. Can you take a look at that and tell me if you recognize it?
It is the Court of Common Plea Court Summit. It's a journal entry from case number CR 11024312, State of Ohio versus Kenan D. Ivery.
And the actual timestamp date, could you give me that date, please?
December 15, 2011, 8 a.m.
All right. And if we go to that, the third page into that exhibit, can you just tell me at the bottom there, the red stamp, what that is?
The stamp says I certify to be a true copy of the original Daniel H. Oregon Court, and then deputy signature.
So that would be a certified copy then of that journal entry?
Correct.
From the Summit County Court of Common Pleas?
Correct.
All right. Looking at the first page again, can you tell us what the defendant Kenan Ivery was convicted of in that particular case?
The plea negotiation was that he was guilty to illegal assembly or possession of chemicals for manufacturing drugs. And the crime forfeiture specification 1 to court to count 1, and count 5 having weapons while disability, which plea voluntarily made and with a full understanding of the consequences and accepted by the court.
Okay. So just for the sake of the jury then, he was guilty to illegal assembly or possession of chemicals for the manufacture of drugs?
Correct.
Is that right? Okay. And that's felony of the 3rd degree?
I said that earlier.
Bring to the second page.
Yes, that would be felony of the 3rd degree.
All right. And the having weapons while under disability conviction, what level is that? Felony
Weapons
level.
while felony of the 3rd degree.
And then referring to the last page of this exhibit, do you see some identifying information about Kenan Ivery on there, like date of birth and social security number?
Yes, I see his name, address, city, date of birth, phone number, and such.
Can you give me, for the record, then the date of birth
02/01/1979.
and the social security number, please?
296-86-2270.
And from this information, date of birth and social security number, or from your own memory of your investigation into Kenan Ivery in 2011, is this journal entry, these convictions for the defendant Kenan Ivery sitting in court here today?
Correct.
That's the same person?
Correct.
Okay. Officer, just for the record, can you point out the Kenan Ivery that you're talking about who was convicted in 2011 of these 2 felonies? Is he here in court? Could you point him out, please?
Yes, he's sitting right there. He's wearing a suit with a white with blue striped collar shirt, looks like, a tie. He's got a mustache and a reading glasses.
Okay, I'd ask that the record reflect that he's identified the defendant.
So noted.
That's all the questions I have. Thank you.
Your Honor, likewise, we have no questions for this officer.
All right, thank you, sir.
May we approach?
Ladies and gentlemen, due to scheduling issues, we have no further witnesses for today. So I am just going to point out that I think it's 70 degrees and sunny out, so maybe that's a little plus for getting out a little early here today. We are going to be back here tomorrow morning, ready to start at 9 a.m. And I should have I'm going to stay with the lawyers here. We're going to go over schedule issues, so I have some better information to give you tomorrow morning about what we anticipate will be as we, move towards the end of this case. So I'm going to remind you again, don't discuss this case amongst yourselves, nor permit anyone else to discuss it with you or in your presence. Don't investigate this case. Don't make any final decisions on this case. Don't talk to anybody related to this case or that's been observing the proceedings. And put those notepads down. Once again, no media watching, no newspaper reading until someone screens it for you, no local news. Okay? And we will see you tomorrow morning at 8:55. All right? I think our schedule-related discussions will probably be off the record, so we can do those in chambers, just the lawyers.
it? Can I get a folder? Okay, I haven't had them. They asked for some, but I want to give them an option to have them. So I just want to make sure.
I have a feeling that whatever the state asks for, they're going to say no.
I think she asked for update basic. She asked for their direct or indirect. She didn't ask for the council. So I don't know if they want any of it or not, but I figure I should probably ask